Hey Scratchers, today I will show you how to add the ability to enter the houses. We will continue from the YSort tutorial, so be sure to save as a copy. Start by clicking into the player sprite and making sure you have the Get Grid Index My block on the bottom of When I Receive Tick Player script. Run the project, press 0 to enter edit mode, then press P to activate the pin editor. Check that the collision pins match mine. It is important we don't have any collision at the center of the door. Press P again to turn off the pin editor. You will see GIDX change when our avatar touches the door. Go back into the code and create a new variable named IsDoor and click for this sprite only. Add the IsDoor variable to the bottom of the Get Grid Index My block. Drop in the item of the list block. We want to set IsDoor to the tile our avatar is currently touching. Run the project and we see IsDoor reporting this correctly. Now we can expand the script to look for doors on layer 2 as well. Code this by adding gmol to GIDX, then we can check this works by running the project. Go back into the player sprite and create a new list named Door Lookup for this sprite only. Click into the tile sprite. We are looking for tile number 490. Add this number to the door lookup list, clicking off the list entry so it saves. Grab a list contains thing block and add our item of grid block to it. Drop this new script back into the set IsDoor block and run the project again. Now the IsDoor variable will report true when the avatar touches doors and false when they don't. Go back into the player sprite and create a new My block called CheckDoorAt and add an input called GIDX. Check Run Without Screen Refresh. We will add a script that sets the IsDoor variable to true no matter the layer the door is on. We will call the CheckDoorAt My block twice, once with the GIDX variable only, and once with the gmol added to GIDX. This allows us to find the door on either layer 1 or layer 2. Go ahead and test our scripts now. If you followed the example carefully, the IsDoor variable should report true when a door is touched and 0 when it is not. If this doesn't happen, go back and check that everything matches up and test again. Detach the scripts from the Get Grid Index My block and drag them into some empty space. Create a new My block called CheckDoor Across Layers, and this time do not click Run Without Screen Refresh. Attach the set block and 2 CheckDoor My blocks at the top. After checking if IsDoor is greater than 0 or true, check if our player direction is 0. This means our avatar is walking into the house, so change to the house scene. Finally, if our player direction is 180, we are walking out of the house, so change back to the overworld scene. Scroll back up to when I receive tick player and attach our check door across layers to get grid index. Find where we define the change scene my block and copy the code inside the if type equals edge condition. After carefully rearranging the scripts, we need to set scene name to the input variable named type, passed in by the change scene my block. Once everything matches the example, drop the whole thing into the else condition. We are now ready to test. After our avatar walks into the house, a new empty scene will load for us. This is the inside of the house. We need to add the exit tile to our door lookup list. Click into the tile sprite. Scroll to the bottom and find the door archway. It should be tile 531. Add that to our door lookup list, clicking off the entry box to save it. Run the project and enter the house. You may need to set the collision pins as shown. Remember to press P again to turn off the pin editor, otherwise the layer cannot be switched. Place down the door archway. If we create a second house and walk into it, we will see a problem. Our avatar can walk right inside of the other house. Now you may want this. In that case, we could stop here. However, let me show you how to give each house its own dedicated scene. Click back into the player sprite and find the define scene my block again. Right-click and duplicate the bottom set scene name variable line and drag it into the if condition. Replace item 3 of strings with the GIDX variable. If we quickly show the GIDX variable reporter and run the project, we see that it changes as we move around the map. This is how we will give each house a dedicated indoor scene. Go back into the code and add in the if condition we just built at the dashed line. We also need to remove the length of strings list equals 3 and replace it with the length of strings list is greater than 2. Let's test this new code. First, make sure the scene name variable reporter is showing, enter a house, and activate edit mode. We can quickly build the inside of the house, then exit through the door. Now enter the other house, build and exit, then leave. If we walk into the first house, walk around the entire scene, we can no longer see the inside of the second house. This means our code works. We have time for one more thing. Stop the project and head back to the player sprite. Let's add some script to set the player X and Y positions when our avatar enters or exits the houses. Carefully copy the formula that sets the player X position so the player will spawn inside the house, centered at the bottom middle of the scene. Next, when the player exits the house, we will center their avatar at the entrance. Add another if condition to check when the type input variable is equal to over. Then we need to check to see if the length of strings list is greater than 3. Otherwise, we want to use the previous value stored in GIDX. Create two more variables, Overworld X, clicking for this sprite only, and Overworld Y, also clicking for this sprite only. We need to do a little math now, so watch carefully. We want to set the Overworld variables to record the player X and Y position right before entering the house. We can use the GIDX variable to figure this out. Copy the formula as shown and drop the scripts in place, right after we check the length of strings list. We are nearly done. We just have to scroll up and modify the condition when the type input variable is equal to edge. Replace the length of strings is equal to 3 condition with the length of strings is greater than 2. We also want to check if the string length is greater than 3 here, so we can add the house number to the scene name variable. Make sure we change 3 to 4 here. It is time for our final test. Run the project and go into a house. Our avatar should spawn at the bottom middle of the house scene. Build another exit door, leave the house, and go back in, and notice how well our avatar is centered at the door frame. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to add some great new indoor scenes to your projects. Thank you for watching, and see you in Scratch.